Okay, and we are back with the second gen Longhorn project. I did get a piece of weather stripping put in here, and it was one of those universal fitment types of weather stripping from like AutoZone, and it actually fit. Like, it was actually almost the perfect size, so it actually went in there pretty good and worked. So that's awesome. Pretty happy with how that turned out and how that worked, because it's just what I needed in terms of like what I was looking for. So that works out perfect. And we did get the top one done on this side as well. So that is all done and addressed. Thank goodness. There's a couple of other things, actually a lot of other things we've still got to do on this truck. We do have some front and rear diff covers, some Fleece Performance strut tower delete plates for 94 plus Dodge Ram 2500 and 3500. You see the strut towers down in here. We'd be getting rid of the strut towers. And why get rid of the strut towers? There's probably some people asking, why get rid of the strut towers? Well, here's the problem. When we install the front leveling kit on this truck, I had forgotten something that I usually never forget, and that was to order bigger struts, bigger shocks for the front of the truck. You know, because if you're gonna lift the truck 3 inches in the front, you can't have a factory shock with a 3-inch spacer added on, and now you're gonna have no travel in your shock and your front end's gonna be super stiff. So my options were either buy new shocks, which I don't really wanna do because they're a pain in the butt to get in and out, or buy the strut tower delete kit, and it'll essentially take that like 4-inch of strut tower that's just wasted space, and it'll just delete that and bring the top of that shock down to the top of the coil mount right there that kind of like holds the coil in place. It'll basically bring that down to that point to where then you have a bunch of travel of your shock, so you can actually have a soft ride in the front, and it'll actually improve the ride quality versus what it is right now with a stock shock and a 3-inch lift in the front. It's rough in the front, and I don't want that. We also got new shocks for the back as well, because they are factory shocks and we want to get rid of those so that this truck rides as good as it looks. And so that's going to be coming up here in the next part of this video. So we're going to get this hood popped and show you what we're dealing with here. So also I'm gonna do an engine bay detail here soon, just because there's a little bit of overspray like dust. But if you look, it's not like actually like painted onto the truck. Like if you look at this dust, it comes off, but it's just freaking, you know what I'm saying? It's wiping off. It's just a dust mess. Okay, so we're gonna get to taking top nut off of the strut here, and then we're gonna get to unbolting the strut tower itself. And hopefully after that, it'll be pretty simple in terms of the strut tower coming off. That shock is fully maxed out, so I'm gonna essentially put the plate on it and try to compress it and thread a couple of those nuts on, and then go from there. That's pretty much it. So let's get to that process right now. We did get the strut tower delete plates installed, and they look much better, and I hope the ride quality is much better in the front end. You could tell before I got the leveling kit put in, even though the shocks were horrible and already gone, it wasn't bad. Like, it actually rode pretty nice. And then as soon as I put the leveling kit on and had to buy factory new shocks, like factory height new shocks, and not order the ones that I normally do, I was like, oh crap. You know what I mean? I knew it was gonna ride rough, and Devin even said, he's like, dude, it's gonna ride rough unless you either get the delete plates or you get, you know, the proper size shocks. So I got the delete plates. They were $100, and so far, I mean, that took about 4 inches out of the shock being extended and shortened it down to where now there's more actual usability in the shock itself, which, if you ask me, we took a 3-inch plate and added that in, well, spacer, and then we took like I want to say a 4-inch strut tower and deleted it, and we're still using the stock, you know, size shock. So I'm guessing it should be just about where it's supposed to be and what it's recommended. So we're gonna see how this thing runs. I'm gonna get this out on the road here and I'm gonna drive it and then show you guys and my feedback on how I think it turned out. All ready to go in the Red Beast. So we're gonna take this truck on a little drive. However, it is a stick and I do have a heavy camera in my hand, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold the camera and drive the truck, and I'm not gonna recommend that I do that. But I'm gonna take the truck down the road, come back, and get kind of like, give you guys my feedback on how much better it rode in the front end with the new suspension compared to the previous suspension. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys in just a bit. Well, I'm on a little road here that doesn't really get any traffic, but this thing drives so much better. Like, I'm talking cloud soft in the front end, way better. So if you're wondering, super happy. Well, the truck rode super good, so I'm super happy with how that turned out. And by the way, those strut tower delete plates, if you're gonna level your truck and it's just easier to go to a local store and get stock replacement shocks that are brand new, and you don't want to spend $250, $300 on a full set all the way around, you just want to replace it with OEM stuff, those delete plates were $100 on Amazon. They're the Fleece Performance ones. It really did. Like, this is not a joke. I'm not sponsored by them for that part or anything. Real world testing and experience, my opinion. Truck rode way better. I took it around this road that was really bumpy, that it rode really rough on before, and that's why we really haven't been driving it much. And it rode super soft. I mean, soft as a cloud in the front end. You could tell the back was still a little bit stiff because the back shocks are still the original ones. And that's why we have new ones right there to go on the back so that we can have a soft riding rear end on that truck again too. So we're actually gonna do that right now. We're gonna get under the back end of the truck, get the old shocks taken off, and get these new ones put in. And if somebody is in need of some really good condition strut towers, these things are actually in really good shape. They're not rotted out, and this is pretty much how most of the frame on the truck looked when we picked it up. And this is a good representation of how solid this truck really is. I mean, like, I had another truck, and it was one of my first 12 valves, and the strut towers, like, they're already thin as it is, but the rust was so bad, the strut towers were like in pieces. In fact, on the inside, it was actually rusted in half. It wasn't even connected. That's how bad it was. So, in the whole frame, I mean, it was matched just how that looked. So I got out of that truck. But if you guys are in need of some strut towers, because some people might just like to keep them and they just want to replace them, I will sell them to you. Make me an offer. New Bilstein 5100 series shocks in place, and I feel much better about that. I'm going to talk to you about this exhaust in a second. But yeah, much better in place. You'll see the bungee cords for that exhaust. So real quick thing. So I installed this exhaust a long time ago, back when I first got the truck. And when I first installed it, to be clear, everything was great. Everything was tight, it was snug, all hangers in place, everything's good. 2 weeks after installing it, I'm still driving the truck around and everything. This is when it was all in really rough shape, driving it around. Started to get a little vibration, so I get out and check it, you know, a little bit later, and the whole exhaust is loose and rotating down like that. I'm like, okay, well that sucks. So I rotated back up, tightened down the clamps back again, and some of the clamps break. The nuts just tightened up too much. It literally snapped the clamps. Like, that's how cheap they were. So then I go through this whole thing again like 2 or 3 more times of getting new clamps and stuff like that. Still having issues. Take it up to Devin. He's like, dude, he's like, I can't get this thing to like cooperate. This exhaust, like, it needs to be like welded and have much higher quality hangers put on it. This is what I've come to the conclusion of. The kit that this was, it was a little under $300 for this exhaust system, which is pretty normal for like a 2nd gen, you know, exhaust system on these 12 valves, because they're pretty cheap. They're just such simple kits. It's just a cheap kit, like it's just junk. So what I'm having done tomorrow, first thing in the morning, is I'm actually going up to a muffler shop close by, and they don't do diesel exhaust, but the entire exhaust system is in place. All I'm wanting them to do is put actual heavy duty hangers welded to the exhaust and like hanging on the frame in the holes that are already there for them where they're supposed to be, and then putting in the rubber pieces in between to, you know, cut out the vibration issue, and then also rotate it back up and weld it where it's twisting and rotating, and just like basically go through the exhaust and have everything properly welded where it's supposed to be welded, and good clamps where they're supposed to be clamps, and hangers where they're supposed to be hangers, so that everything's perfect and good again and uptight where it's supposed to be. Because I know people comment about the exhaust like all the time, And no, I do not want my exhaust to be hanging down that low. I did not install it like that. It just is like that right now because it's not in proper functioning form in terms of where it's supposed to be aiming out the rear end. All that aside, that's getting addressed tomorrow morning. Also, the rear shocks are in. And in terms of the giveaway winner, everybody's been asking, and I have been too. Apparently my attorney has already spoken with a winner and said that he has been drawn and he has been notified, and he's just waiting on him to get back some paperwork that he had to just sign real quick, and he still is waiting on that, and that's why we have not been able to call him yet, because we can't call him until he signs the paperwork. So if you see this man, make sure you sign that and get it back to him so that we can get you your truck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that thumbs up, leave your comments down below. If you want to win this truck, every $5 is 5 entries to win right now. So go click the link in the description below, lmpgear.com, because $5 could get you this truck with $5,000 cash. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.